Can't hear you. Can't
Good,
hear you. That's what I did.
good morning, Joanne. You-
Nope.
You're muted.
Still can't hear you.
Up.
Okay.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I have to do that with Zoom too.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
It's not perfect. um, I gather that Ray is having a hard time,
mm,
but because these treatments are apparently really, really hard, and each one is worse than the last one. But they have hope that it's going to
it's gonna help.
make it possible for him to live.
Right.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Ah, there you
Yes,
are.
we've got voice. Yes.
You know, at the beginning of Zoom, there's a thing that says something about use computer audio. And if I don't click that right, I think that's the problem. That's why I have to get back off. And I think because I saw you and I was in a hurry, I thought I clicked it, but I must not have. And once I'm on, I don't know how to undo that. I'm not, I don't know how to go back other than shut it, go back. But anyway, here we are.
We're glad to have you here.
I'm so sorry I missed yesterday. It's just that the home health aide comes at 9. It was 9:23 before I got her and Rick settled enough to walk away,
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
think once we kind of get into a rhythm, she'll be able to do it without me doing that. But,
yeah, of course.
it takes a little while to get it all set up the systems.
Does it not?
Then, of course, as soon as they get set up, they will change. But,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
that's life, right?
It's certainly our life at the moment.
It's certainly our life at the moment. But, yeah,
So, we're here.
we're here.
And
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You look like you're dressed for a rainy day.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's high out there today, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah.
I think April 1st, I shouldn't be wearing sweaters, but yeah.
Why not?
Well, yeah, April 1st wasn't too bad. By April 2nd, we're back down to March.
Exactly.
Yesterday wasn't too bad, was it? But yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
It comes and goes.
And that's what spring's about.
Yeah.
That's what spring is about, especially in New England. Always has been.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
especially in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, questions? Anything coming up in your practice that you want to mention? No? Everybody good. Okay.
It's just taken a lot more time to incorporate in the just feeling that slowdown. I think that was the biggest thing that I got out of that.
What, Linda? I didn't hear that word.
The slowdown. The couple weeks ago, David, I think you weren't here, and David helped me to feel more of the twisting, pointed out more of the twisting in and out. And
I think that was one of the videos I did watch, though. Yeah.
Okay, okay. What it did was really helped me to feel, thinking about that continuous motion of the twisting slowed me way down. Really took me into a different place of how fast I was moving through things, and I don't think it physically slowed me down a lot, but it mentally slowed me down. It made me a little bit more, okay, you're still in one, you're still in two, rather than going, okay, well, now what's next? And which I think, may have come about, impacted the physical stuff too, but mentally it definitely.
That's part of the process. That you have to go through the what's next until you don't have to.
Right.
And you can begin to move deeper. And so that's good. We're making progress.
I think so.
Good.
Baby steps, but...
Good. Anything for you, Joanne?
Well, I particularly appreciated your, what I'm doing is your readings, your words of wisdom from last week. And I think that's because, and this happens in life all the time. I'm just in the middle of one of those times when, life kind of throws you something and you're trying to deal with a lot, and it's easy to have lots of levels of frustration. I liked your sentence, unless you just like frustration,
Right.
Which some people get really into, right? Or into the stories. I thought the Harry Potter series comment was funny because it kind of like, as I go through this, I realize why so many people write books about going through cancer or being caretakers or something, and part of it is they're like getting it out.
Yeah.
Part of it is, here are my lessons, kind of thing. And then it's also, people being in touch with you saying, no, just call me if you need to vent. And I like to quote Thich Nhat Hanh on that. It's like sometimes venting is just really stirring it up more and more. And there's a point where a lot of venting is just giving it life as opposed to putting it down. And I think that last week, your words really kind of help look at how this practice kind of, doesn't give it life, but says, and you don't have to analyze whether it's the big stuff or the little stuff. Because sometimes when you're in something like I'm in now, the little stuff becomes the big stuff. Like I woke up this morning saying, why am I hearing that one voice of negativity as opposed to all the beautiful things that people have been doing? I think that's kind of my nature. It's a lot of our natures,
Yeah.
So I do find this practice. And I told that negative person, I said, I'm really doing an interesting meditation practice. So I'm trying to describe it to her. I think it was like, anyway.
Yeah.
She didn't say this, but I was thinking, she's saying, instead of calling me to vent, she's meditating.
There's the group that I went to India with, we still do Zooms on a regular basis. And most of them are overseas. There's a group in Australia, there's a gentleman in England, there's a couple in Germany, so we're all gathering together. And we're trying to stay more on the peace and meditative and bodhisattva kind of thing. But at one point somebody asked me about what's going on here in America. And I said something, and I said, I'm finding it difficult to kind of step away because I've got that feeling that I don't want to be surprised. I want to kind of keep myself aware of that. And the guy in England had this fabulous comment, and he said, be careful because, he wasn't even saying it that way. He just basically said a lot of people get addicted to that rage kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, that's so true. Because, it's a feeling that you can kind of grab on and go, oh, yes, and you need to have a little bit of it, but you got to be careful to find a way to channel it so that it doesn't become that addiction.
Absolutely.
That's true. It's like, it's an adrenaline charge.
Exactly.
Exactly. Right? So, there is a kind of feeling. Some people really would think of it as a high. Yeah. Oh, I know. The rage is like, oh.
Yeah. And yes, it should be there. I mean, because what's happening is just totally outrageous. But on the other hand, you got to be careful to find out what you can do about it other than
Right, and that's
just
the key.
grab onto it and feel that and
Yeah,
throw a temper
absolutely.
tantrum. You know, which
During
we
the
I want to
19
do.
Yes, during the 1980s, at the time when, nuclear war was much more of a threatening thing, they the rate of suicide among teenagers was high, and they attributed that to kids having no hope. Like, why am I trying? I may not have a future. We may all get blown up. And the antidote was that if they knew people, their parents, teachers, other people in the community who were trying to do something, that made all the difference in their mental health, and I think in all of ours. So I think that is right. That it is. You're right. It's a matter. It's balance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
It's
it's
not
yin and
saying I
yang.
can't look at the news or do anything because it's, well, if you're going to the gas station, you know something's going on. But what can you do about it? How can you help? How can you support people if you are limited in some other ways? So yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it is that empowerment feeling, and how empowered do I feel, so I don't have to write the Harry Potter book of woes.
So,
So
Yeah.
moving on from that. But this is all that makes it real.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So, I do want to do quite a bit on inner dissolving and actually getting into some basic meditation with that. So what I'd like you to do is to do a short flow of heaven and earth, just 6 repetitions,
Okay.
Very short. Okay.
just to get the energy moving and perhaps settle you down a little.
Yep. Yep.
So if you'll do that, we'll go on.
Right. David, I have a quick question about going slow,
Yep.
about the consistency of it, because I find myself, except for the final hands down, which I know is supposed to be particularly slow, I find myself being a little faster in some spaces and really slower in others. Should I be working more towards a consistency there?
Well, I do think that often 3 requires moving a little more quickly
Yep.
because you're doing so much
Right.
in that 1. Otherwise, I think they're moving pretty much the same.
Okay. That's helpful.
Yeah, but I
Thank you.
understand, and that is one of the important things, is to keep the movement constantly coordinated,
Yep.
so that there are no pauses and no breaks.
Yes.
And that gets difficult when you do have to have subtle differences in pace.
Right.
So,
But we can go slower or faster without stopping.
yeah,
Don't break the silk thread.
absolutely.
That's my image.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. So, you've learned how to have your chi drop from the top of your head through your body to your lower dantian in outer dissolving. But meditation is it's a broad term. It can mean many different things to different people, depending upon their perspective that they come from. And a few questions and their answers might definitely help us to understand what Taoist meditation is, as opposed to what is done in other traditions. So in the beginning stages, Taoist meditation is based on basic methods which involve inner and outer dissolving. So what's the difference? So bear in mind that the difference between inner and outer dissolving is this. Your mind has the ability, if it focuses, to recognize an an area inside you that is bound up, blocked, stuck, glitched, whatever. It is not smooth. In other words, the water does not flow. There is some big thing in the middle of it that's stopping it, stopping the water from flowing. So knowing that the mind has this ability, the method of Taoist meditation is to have your mind settle on that area and release what is blocked. Now this is done in 2 ways. With outer dissolving, you release what is inside you. It could be anywhere. It could be deep inside an internal organ. Your experience of it can be it being inside your brain or your foot or somewhere else inside your body. With many medical conditions, it is quite common to have a blocked acupuncture point. So this is inside your body. I now dissolve that, and you want it to soften, to relax, until you get this feeling that it is completely relaxed. But that's not the end of it, because that doesn't actually get rid of the problem. It just makes it better. And anything that can soften can become hard again, like water. Ice can become water, and water can once again turn into ice. But then to complete the process and add a dissolving, that energy goes to your skin, and then on the outside of your body is your etheric body. And anything that happens energetically inside your body goes to the boundary of your etheric body. And there's this constant interplay in the middle between what is in your etheric body and what is inside your physical body. Now, your physical body creates the etheric body, but your etheric body, because it's looped, can also affect your inside. So the object in outer dissolving is to resolve this energy from your skin through your etheric body until it resolves itself. And this is more effective than simply relaxation. But inner dissolving is something different. Again, with outer dissolving, we've gone from the inside out. Inner dissolving goes from the outside in. So let's say it was maybe your knuckle that was blocked. From this knuckle, when I find where the blockage is, I now go into my knuckle and I will start dissolving inside myself. Now, in every space inside your body, every little microdot, they contain all the energies that your entire body is comprised of. The universe of your entire body is within every microdot or cell. So you go into those cells, you go all the way in until, rather than the feeling that your energy has gone to the outside of your etheric body and finished, you go deep inside yourself until your emotional, mental, psychic essence levels of yourself all release, and you come into either a small or a very major, large experience of emptiness. This emptiness that both Buddhists and Taoists are always talking about. So it's inside you. That's why you have to go in. One way of putting it is imploding, going into, whereas the other way is exploding. Now the question becomes, since Taoism is so focused on starting with the body, and Tai Chi and Qigong are body practices, and among other things, just take yoga. It's also a body practice, among other things. How does your outer dissolving help your Qigong and Tai Chi, and vice versa? So, first of all, the ability to take your energy out of out of here and enable you to relax it. But it also has healing qualities, just like acupuncture has healing qualities. So you have that relationship, your body, your internal organs, and what they secrete, and the energies they generate in the body experience, in the body create the emotions. Likewise, the energies inside your internal organs and glands affect your brain, and they affect the way your brain works so that it operates well, for better or worse. And so all of this outer dissolving upgrades your emotional and mental sphere. But what it cannot do is it cannot resolve really deep issues. So let's say from traumas, it can make things better from stress or too much pressure, but because that's a situation caused by the events and the way in which your internal organs have simply become deranged from too much pressure or too much stress or too much activity. But if you want to deal with extremely deep stuff, then you have to go to inner dissolving. So this brings up some other questions. For example, what is the relationship between sinking chi and dissolving? Well, the way dissolving works, whether it's inner or outer, is that you dissolve at a level, but if you can't release it, you can't finish it. You drop to the next level, the next place in your body where you have an issue, and you release that, with the object of it all eventually being able to release your lower dantian. Now, sinking chi does not necessarily release every point, but it sinks it down your body. And when you release something, let's say you had something here, and you release it into your etheric body, when it comes back the next time, that's going to happen is you're going to drop your chi into the next lower point. Well, one way of saying something is going from here to here is just, from here to here is just sinking your chi. But sinking your chi with resolution and only sinking your chi are not the same thing. Zen, for example, which was a practice in China that developed from a marriage of, or a fusion of Taoism and Buddhism, but actually a lot of it was the way they practiced, and what they did came directly out of Taoism. It was a fusion, a marriage. In Taoism, you not only sink as you do, you not only sink as you do in Zen, but you also dissolve. Now the next question is, we've talked a little about blockages, what they are, and why you should care that you should have them or not. Well, the purpose of inner and outer dissolving is to release blockages. You have energy in your body, and this is very simple. If a current moves along something, it produces a steady stream of power. Electricity or water, for example, where you want the current to be powering something, whether it is your physical body or your emotions, your thought processes, your more stable perceptions. Everything, you want everything to move smoothly. And as the phrase goes, if nothing's broken, then there's no need to fix it. Everything is working just fine. But if you have a blockage, rather than the flow being steady, every place you have a blockage, it doesn't work well. So it becomes broken. And every one of these places is where you got stuck. That's where you have emotional discomfort, emotional pain. That's where you become hyper stressed out. And that is where your mind no longer works well. Well, certainly not as well as it can. You want it to have a steady current. So blockages are essentially what is inside you that doesn't work well. Now, Buddhism doesn't use the term blockages. They often use the term obstacles or obstructions. They talk about it from a visual point of view. The thing that makes it fuzzy so that you are not able to see clearly. The Taoists come more from a point of view of all spirituality, is essentially about spiritual health. And they have a medical model. And the term blockages is something from acupuncture. You have a point that's blocked. If you took that from a visual perspective and you talk about what's inside, that point is obscured. You can't see it. You don't know what's inside, but it's causing you problems. So I'd like you to sit and close your eyes. And settle. Just let your body relax. Let your mind settle. Try to let it move away from its constant state of anxiety, jumping to this and that, and just let it settle. It's like sitting in a chair. The first thing you want is for your rear end to settle in that chair and be comfortable and not constantly squirming. Let your mind settle. And as you meditate with your mind, now I want you to take 3 deep breaths. And with each exhale, let your body relax and become present to your body. Let your mind settle and not jump from place to place. For a little bit, let your mind take a vacation from thinking. Just be present to your body. You feel like you're sitting stably, or do you feel like one hip or another is up and the other down? Try to sit with your back straight rather than hunched over. Try to have the very top of your head be up and not tilting backwards. And in Taoist meditation, you always have your tongue touching the roof of your mouth at the roots of your upper teeth. And relax your tongue. Relax the base of your tongue. And this will connect the major energetic circuit in your body, frequently referred to as the microcosmic circuit. Just let it touch. Just let your mind and your body let go. Now, in the basic outer dissolving method, which could be translated as ice to water, water to gas, we were dealing with your body and the stress in your body. But you eventually want to take meditation to the point where it can resolve everything inside you. That means not just your body, not just the energy that runs your body, and not just all your emotions, and not that which proves your ability to be aware and think. Not the thoughts and not the thinking, but actually what brings about the awareness for thoughts to emerge. And not only that, but you want to eventually be able to deal with the psychic world. Not in the sense that you can know what's going to happen, whether or not to play tarot cards better, but simply to become aware of the invisible world around you and how it impacts you. And if you wish to not just be able to deal with that inside yourself, but also your karma and all that means. If you also want to find out your essence, what that is, who you really are beyond your personality or any experience you've ever had, thought about, imagined, or fantasized about. What you truly are has very little to do with what has ever happened or how you could project from what has happened to you into the future. In other words, if you'd like your inner world to be free, to be balanced, then you use inner dissolving. So the first step is ice to water, then water to inner space. Now, ice to water is relaxation. If you have something that is blocked inside you, something that you perceive as not being smooth and being stuck, the first step is to release it, to let go of what binds it. However, the resolution of the deeper things inside you will not come from relaxation. It just needs a different circumstance to resolve. So it's just relaxing and letting go to where you can stably, at least for some time, relax inside yourself, understanding that relaxing your body is not the same thing as relaxing your emotions. When a person is having a drama, when a person is having a mental breakdown, when a person is suffering severe emotional trauma, when a person is suffering indecision and confusion about their emotions. From the perspective of Taoist meditation, the water of their mind has turned to ice. Because it's frozen, it can't change. It's frozen in time, and with that frozenness comes discomfort, pain, confusion, and generally not being happy with the situation. So that's what iced water is. In one sense, at the ultimate level of Taoist meditation, you can call anything a meditation, because it's something you do in your ongoing life 24 hours a day. But in the beginning, doing a meditation means you are doing something to get this result, or you are doing something to take you into the door, into the house where meditation really happens. When you arrive in that house, so much of the technique is going to disappear. You're going to go for things that are much deeper. But the beginning is not necessarily the end. So start at the crown of your head, the byway point, and let your awareness be present to this point. Let your awareness relax and just stay there. Not with any kind of force, but just as if you have dropped a stone into a pond of water. And when it finally sinks to the bottom, it just sits there. Doesn't have to exert anything to sit there. It just sits there. And so gradually you're becoming present to the fact that you are aware of something. And we're going to take a little journey just through your head, because at any point inside your body, your energy could be blocked. The first thing you need to be able to do is have the willingness and the ability to travel through your body, so when you encounter a blockage, you can resolve it. And that will be the subject of the next stage of meditation. But right now, you're at the recognition phase of what's going on. As you begin to go down from the top of your head, front, sides, and back, let your awareness go down. And try to notice, and by notice I don't mean making a picture. I mean just recognize if everything feels open, easy, or not. Does something feel stuck? Because if it's open and easy, you don't have a blockage. But if you feel stuck, you do. Now, the purpose of meditation is to resolve blockages. From the point of view, the ego is just one big blockage. It just has a lot of parts. And in each of the parts is another blockage. So as you go down, just be aware and stay kind of on the surface of your skin. And if you can, allow your awareness to go inside your body just a little bit, half an inch to an inch. Because your awareness has the ability to penetrate your body. And your awareness has the ability to recognize what energies are moving in your body. But right now, all you want to care about is just go down and do what you can. Move towards your eyebrows. Eventually, in Taoist meditation, your ability to feel and penetrate and see what's going on inside you will actually take you into the center of your brain. And while some people have the opinion that you cannot feel inside your brain, the Taoists have been doing it for millennia. So bit by bit, start coming down your forehead, front, sides, and back. Try to get to the height of your eyebrows. See if you can be present. Feel. Have awareness of the front, back, and sides of your head simultaneously. Like a great sheet of water, just slowly flowing down your head. And everywhere the water touches, in the front, back, and sides, you are aware of what's happening inside of yourself. As you go down a little bit lower, you arrive at the eyeballs. Feel inside the eyeball. And just in the back of the eyeball is a space where your optic nerve and your brain join with your eyeball. Well, this will feed your brain. It could be blocked. Does it feel open, comfortable, or not? Now just feel what's in your eyeball. And then what's just behind it. Because eventually, relaxing the optic nerve, where all that visual stress is stored, can flow into your brain and make your brain become much more happy, much less stressed out, much less distorted. You're just being present to what's inside you. Moving down a bit further to your ears and into the middle of your ear and inside of it. All of us know what external sound is. You've listened to music albums or a symphony or an announcer on the radio, and we know those external sounds. And sometimes we just hear them. But go inside your ears and just be aware of what's in there. Because through the years of meditation, you can begin the process of hearing internal sounds. These are the sounds of your nervous system, the sounds that your nervous system is making all the time inside you, that most people don't pay any attention to, but are affected by. As you start going down and get to your vertebra and spinal cord, start feeling the spaces between the vertebra. Start recognizing if the space between each vertebra is comfortable, if it is clear, or if it has something going on that just not what is great. So all you're trying to do is just feel and be present to what's happening inside you. Is it a place where you might get a neck ache? Or it could be much more than that, because your spinal cord is connected to your brain. And your brain can store all kinds of stress, as well as all sorts of experiences that can go to all parts of you. The physical, the energetic, the emotional, the mental, the psychic, the karmic, and the essence. It can be a way of recognizing what's going on. And once you can recognize what's going on, Taoist meditation will then start showing you how to release and resolve the blockages. In the beginning, sitting and visualizing. In many traditions, there are many ways of approaching it. But in Taoist meditation, it is called inner dissolving. Ice to water. First you relax, then water to inner space. Humans are funny in that they actually have the ability inside themselves to connect any place inside themselves, everything inside their bodies, everything inside their minds. And the meditation world says that at the highest spiritual level, one can connect with the entire universe. And then there's this funny phrase, the microcosm. The microcosm, how the external universe is mimicked inside the human body. There have been many books written about this, and there are many people philosophers who've gone deeply into this. And it's something that many people have looked at. But it is not our subject at the moment. Inside yourself, you're going into your inner space. What does that mean? It means that if you have a blockage and you begin to put your attention on it and you remain present to your awareness of the blockage, you will find that your awareness will begin to penetrate the blockage. And at a certain point, the energy that comprises that blockage will echo in your awareness. And the basic technique is to have that go into what Buddhism and Taoism call emptiness. We're going to stay with Taoism and not delve into any other tradition, because Taoism has the idea of emptiness, had it before the Buddha was even born. If something is so, it can get found by a lot of different people. The truth will come out one way or another. Emptiness. Now, when you start going into emptiness, you go into a space in your inner world that's bigger than what you were previously able to recognize. Because before the release, everything is condensed and contracted. It is as though the blockage seems to be only as big as a pinprick, a tiny coin, a pearl, any very small thing. And then all of a sudden inside yourself you find your awareness appearing to expand into something the size of a room. And of course, your inside of your own body cannot expand physically into the size of a room. But your mind can. When you go into that place, which is as big as the size of a room, you release what was in that blockage, because the blockage loses its cohesion. It could be compared to if you had an atom and you let all of the binding force inside of it let go. You actually move out and perhaps occupy as much space as a galaxy. When things are bound, they appear to take a shape. They appear at an internal level to take a form. Happiness is a configuration inside your mind. So is anger and sadness and mental torture. And so is unhappiness. So is frustration and hopelessness. And joy. But when you have that space and the pressure is taken off, that which is not real tends to leave, and unhappiness has a tendency to turn into joy, and sadness into appreciation of the hopefulness, and into enthusiasm. These things can happen. So ice to water, water to inner space. This is the process. This is what Taoist meditation is about. When you're sitting right here, right now, if you encounter something that seems to be stuck, and seems not to be clear, it seems not to be flowing, it does not seem, for want of a better term, to be as it should be, keep your mind on it. Let your mind penetrate it until it loses all of its binding and cohesion. And that's what you're after. That is what the basic process of Taoist meditation, inner dissolving, is. and let us close. Sending all benefit gained from this practice out to help all the sentient creatures of the universe. I apologize for rushing, but this this went considerably longer than I meant or hoped it would. And I have a medical appointment I have to go to. So thank you.
Fabulous. Very much so.
I'll send it all to you.
Yes. Great. Thank you.
Excuse me. Oh. Joanne had to go somewhere.